movies, music, video games, books, television. They are the five families of media. Well, we are the family that talks about it. This is Multimedia Mafia. How's everybody doing out there in podcast land? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I am Anthony. This is Multimedia Mafia, a very special edition of Multimedia Mafia. Tonight, it is Memorial Day. It's the day that we remember all of the soldiers that didn't make it home.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. That was the voice of Uncle Bubba. Kevin Cale, how you doing, Unc?
I'm doing fine, maggot.
Well, today's episode is a very special episode. Like I said, it's Memorial Day, and Bubba and I are going to be talking about a couple of our favorite war movies that are out there. The ones that really, realistic, the ones that had good story, and the ones that are just mindfuck kind of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Bubba, what are a couple of your favorite wartime movies?
I have a favorite one. It's called Gold Tail, the Spartans. It's with Burt Lancaster. It's from the early 60s. It's about when they first went to Vietnam. You got to check it out if you can find it on video. It's it's a very good movie.
It's set during the early 60s. It actually came out June 14th, 1978.
Yes, very good. They all perish in the movie though because they're overrun by the VC. Mm-hmm. And actually we were there, but we were advisors at the time. Then basically after that, we got fully involved in the war. Mm-hmm. So, it's a good movie. Burt Lancaster, great actor.
No, absolutely.
But then you got Full Metal Jacket with Arlie Emery.
Yes, let's talk about Full Metal Jacket. That's a Stanley Kubrick film.
Everything he did, I thought was great. Oh,
Kubrick was a great director. The Shining, Full Metal Jacket. I mean, the list goes on and on. Of course, there's a myth that he directed the moon landing.
Yeah, it's out there.
But what I love about Full Metal Jacket, even the poster. Let's just start there. Very simple poster. It's just a helmet. It says "Born to Kill" on it. In Vietnam, the wind doesn't blow. It sucks.
Yes.
You want to talk about what that means?
Well, the wind doesn't blow. It sucks. It's just that it's just stale air. It's death.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he writes "Born to Kill." Mm-hmm. And he has a peace button on his helmet.
Yep.
And goes to show you what was going on back then. It was, they weren't drafted because they were Marines. Marines didn't draft back they never did. Mm-hmm. So they actually basically volunteered for that. And he was a cameraman.
Who was?
The lead character in the movie.
It's definitely like an ensemble piece. There's not like one main character, although we do follow Gomer Pyle. We follow Joker. Rafter Man.
No, you got that nickname, right?
No, how do you get that nickname?
He was laying in his cot looking up at the rafters all the time because he never did anything.
Okay.
Never went anywhere.
Yeah, and it had that was the first major breakthrough role of Lee Ermey. And as that drill sergeant, which I don't know. I've never been in the military, but having that man scream in my face, watching the movie, it's funny. Yeah. But I know that that's not supposed to be funny.
He was a real, forgot the rank, master. What is it? Master Sergeant, I do believe something.
I'll look it up.
Sergeant Major? No, Master Sergeant. Look it up for me. I can't remember these things.
I'll look it up right now. But the idea that he's screaming in your face.
He was a gunnery sergeant.
Yes, gunnery sergeant. Gunnery sergeant. In the movie, he was a gunnery sergeant. Let's see. He enlisted in the Marine Corps. Served the aviation support field for a few years. Before becoming a drill instructor. He was gunnery sergeant.
Sergeant, yes.
Honorary gunnery sergeant. His rank was staff sergeant E6.
Right.
And then honorary gunnery sergeant E7. And he died a couple years ago. He died in 2018. He was 74 years old, and he's actually buried in Arlington too.
Yeah, well, he served in the military.
Yes, he did.
You know.
But yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think anybody could be buried there. There's different parts. I'm not sure, but
yeah, that's one of those trips I want to take. I definitely want to eventually find my way down to Arlington.
You got to see. I want to go. I got to see the wall.
Yes, I want to see JFK.
Korean Memorial, now the World War II Memorial. You know.
Yes, absolutely. But like I want to talk about real quick. Like I said, this is drill instructor screaming in your face, and Gomer Pyle is laughing.
Yeah.
But is that supposed to be that way? Like, obviously not, because you're not supposed to be laughing. He punches the shit out of him, and he basically drives him insane.
You can't do that today. Back then, there was basically you could do anything you want to a recruit. You know, they didn't care. Today, you can't touch them.
And all of that entire scene that Lee Army does is all unscripted.
Basically, everything he did in that movie was right off the cuff. He's just acting like a Marine. Exactly.
Like Stanley Kubrick basically said to him, "Go to town," and he just ripped that entire scene in perfect. Like, it was perfection.
Yes.
But Gomer Pyle laughing, Vincent DiFerno just laughing his entire way and getting punched and eventually going insane and committing suicide.
Because that's what boot camp is supposed to be about. Personally, I never went through it, but I didn't have the honor to serve in the military at all. But they're supposed to break you down, then build you back up as they want you to be.
Right.
I give these, they're basically kids. They're 19 years old, 18, 19 going in, going through boot camp, decide to serve our country. And you got to give them props for it. I mean,
oh, absolutely. And now here's the wonderful, I guess the wonderful or the weird or the way this movie is structured is we do get it opens with them going to boot camp. And that's the majority. That's like the first half of the film or the first quarter of the film. After Gomer Pyle commits suicide, everyone, Joker and everybody, they all get sent to Da Nang.
Yeah, basically they go to Da Nang, and then they're in Waste City, which was completely devastated.
And then there's the booby trap. Crazy Earl's killed by the booby trap. And it becomes like a trek through Vietnam, right? So it goes from this story of how to become a Marine to you're a Marine now, and here's what Vietnam is like.
Yes,
right. And I'll tell you that what got me was the sniper, and it turned out to be the little girl.
Yes, the little girl that was a little hooker was a sniper.
Right, but the idea, and I mean, I know it still happens to say, you look in the Middle East, there are children wielding weapons, right? But the idea of that's the enemy. Doesn't matter that it's a full grown, you think people war, those are men going to war. It's not. No. They are young children, in this case a teenage girl, and they had no choice but to take her out because she was shooting at them.
Well, actually, they were waiting on the tank support, and once the tank came in, she still got two of them. She got the captain.
Yeah,
that was behind the tank. She picked him off, and they were just gonna lay waste to the city, and that's where basically the movie ends basically there.
Joker executes her. And he was hesitant because, again, it's a child.
Yes.
But, and I think the biggest, I guess, kind of chilling thing that happens is the very end of this movie when the Marines are marching and they're singing the Mickey Mouse camp song.
Goes to show you that how it was during the Vietnam War compared to World War II.
Explain on that. What do you mean?
They're kids.
Right.
All right. And Mickey Mouse, that's how they're remembering their childhood. They're marching through, and they just want to get through with the war. And that's it. They know that they're going to die, basically. They're in this shithole, and they just want to get through it. They want to do the two and get out.
Huh? Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, there's what and where do you put that? Like in your as far as like one of your favorite movies is a movie like you gotta watch or like
I would put that. I'd say in I'd say second. Longest Day, because I'm that to me.
Why don't you give me your rank instead of like is it your top 5? Give me a rank out of 10. Like would you put it like a 5 out of 10, a 7 out of 10?
What, Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal Jacket.
I'd say, maybe a 5 out. Yeah, I'd say 5 out of 10, maybe.
Okay. I mean,
A little higher, could be 4.
No, I mean higher would be higher. Like
I mean, 6.
eight, like an 8 out of 10 is a good score. 5 would be kind of medium.
All right. Yeah, so I say 5. Yeah, because it's basically more of a boot camp story.
Yeah.
Of how boys are becoming men and then going into battle.
Sure.
Where you have in The Longest Day, they're already past boot camp.
Right.
They're just ready to land. And
it's not Platoon.
And it's not Platoon. 10 out of 10. That's my favorite all-time movie is Platoon.
Okay.
All right. It's just, it grabs you and it doesn't let you go to the end of the movie. And that's sad in a way. It's because what they had to go through.
What do you think about the movie Bridge on the River Kwai?
Very good. Yeah, I like that was a good movie because it's true. It's a true movie.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have Apocalypse Now.
I forgot all about that. How could I forget about that? That movie is so deep. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of those movies that has it's a Francis Ford Coppola film. Marlon Brando, Bobby Duvall, Dennis Hopper, Lawrence Fishburne, Harrison Ford. It is like an all-star kind of cast.
They filmed that in the Philippines.
Martin Sheen, yeah.
And every time the helicopters, they're not real American helicopters, but flown by the American Army. Mm-hmm. They're Philippine troops. And every time they would get called away to do something, they would just leave the shot. And then you would have to completely do the scene over again once they came back. That's how That's how when they were filming that movie.
Yeah, and then there's the very famous film, The Deer Hunter.
Yes.
What do you think about The Deer Hunter?
Deer Hunter is that's pretty deep. I watch it, but I really don't like the end. That just when he shoots himself or whatever. Mm-hmm. No, I try to stay away from because that's what shows you what the effects of the war did.
Sure.
All these men and women that came back, and I say women too because they suffered just as much as the men did over there. Because you had the nurses that had to deal with all that in the hospitals and seeing all that chaos and carnage coming, and they had to fix them. And it was just the time. It was a war that was very unpopular at the time. Not call it a war. Some people call it a conflict. No, it was a war.
Yeah, it was a war.
People are shooting at you and you're getting killed.
That's a war.
It's a war. It's not a conflict. No. It's not a military action.
Nope. No, that's a war. No. And this movie, The Deer Hunter, had Robert De Niro, John Cazale, which was his last role. John Savage, Meryl Streep, Christopher Walken. That famous scene with the playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best war films out there. Speaking of best war films, my personal favorite war film, just based on the cinematography alone and how this was shot, was Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, the storyline, on that is true. If you, your brother, they have 4 brothers.
Yes.
3 of them died.
Yes.
And he was the last one.
Yes.
That's true. They would actually get him to come home.
Yes.
Because if you remember the Sullivan brothers.
Yeah, I believe they were the Sullivan brothers, right?
No, the Sullivan brothers that were in the Navy.
Right, yeah.
They all died on the ship. Mm-hmm. That's why they don't put you in the same, the brothers in the same.
The company.
Yeah. So once all 3 of them died, they had to come get him because the mother would lose 4 sons.
Right.
Where the Sullivans, they all went at one time because the boat, they all died. So if you want if you want to join the service with your brother, you have to sign a paper saying that But you're told when you say the landing scene in that movie, Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, it's nightmare.
It's like compare it to The Longest Day. Yeah. It's so realistic, like hardcore.
Oh, absolutely.
Compared to The Longest Day, where it's Hollywood vanilla back in when they filmed that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not as graphic.
Yeah, this was a film that you watch it and you're watching it and you're wondering how the hell did they film this?
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's real. Like every single like that opening sequence, which is the landing at D-Day. It is like terrifying almost because it puts you in the perspective of a soldier on the beach.
Yeah.
Trying to find, like a place to fucking hide, firing back, the guns from the Germans hitting them down, and just it doesn't stop. Like it is unrelenting.
Well, once those doors dropped, there was the guys in the front. They were more or less dead.
Yes.
I mean the guys in the back, because there was just nothing but machine gun fire on
nothing. And this was directed by Steven Spielberg. Tom Hanks produced it. He also starred in it. And Tom, I'm sorry, it wasn't produced by Tom Hanks. It was produced by Steven Spielberg and others, but Tom Hanks has done a lot of work with World War II, movies and such. He's produced a lot. I think he directed one or two of them. I could be wrong there.
Gary Sinise is into that very good.
Yep.
Yeah, she's all of,
and this is
military.
And it's just from a movie standpoint. I was looking through this film, and it's 1998, and just the cast alone makes you go, holy shit, he was in there, holy shit, she was in.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel's in this movie. All right, you have Tom Hanks, obviously he's on the poster. Matt Damon is on there, we all know that. But then like Jeremy Davies, Barry Pepper,
Barry Pepper,
Giovanni Ribisi, who's known for comedy more so and offbeat films, right? Tom Sizemore, Vin Diesel, like you said, Paul Giamatti, Nathan Fillion, Nathan Fillion has a big like sci-fi, like he's a pop culture kind of guy. He's huge. And then like someone like Bryan Cranston is in this film. He plays War Department Colonel, like not named, but just he's in the movie. It's
he's the one that shows the letter.
Right.
To, the guy that played Breaking Bad, what's his name?
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yes.
Yeah,
he had one arm.
Yes, it's like holy shit, he's in this movie too. Ryan Hurst, everyone knows like Ryan Hurst from Breaking Bad. Not Breaking Bad. Ryan Hurst was in Sons of Anarchy. He was in Walking Dead. He has his own show, The Outsiders. He's in Bosch. Like he's and he was also in We Were Soldiers. He was also in Remember the Titans. He was in Taken. Like Ryan Hurst has a great big filmography underneath his belt, and he's in this movie, and you don't even know that he's there.
That's just like you have Band of Brothers.
Yes,
that was one. I watched that from beginning to end on HBO nonstop. I actually have it on DVD. Then you had the Pacific, which was basically.
It was a sequel kind of miniseries.
It shows you what they did in the Pacific, but I'm not going to sit there and say one. To me, Band of Brothers, because I'm like World War II. I mean, the history of it. It's not Vietnam, because I'm going to just say it outright. I think that Vietnam veteran got screwed. Okay, the recognition wasn't there for them. Either was the recognition for Korean War veteran, but
okay,
they appreciate it. I appreciate them, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in this country that do appreciate.
Absolutely.
Vietnam veterans. Vietnam, Korea. That's not to say. I was 6 years old. Vietnam broke out. Korea.
Korea was the 50s. That's before you.
So from like the Vietnam War, I remember that growing up. Towards the end.
Bro, yeah. Well, Vietnam's also interesting because it was the first war that was broadcasted into American televisions, like American homes across the nation. So it's not just like in World War II, we heard what was happening, but you had people had to go to the movie theaters to see those reels, so it wasn't like in our face. Vietnam, though, was the first time that you could turn on the TV and see it.
Yes. See, the World War I and the World War II veterans, greatest generation. You got to thank them every day, that generation, because they actually saved this country.
Yeah, they're known as the greatest generation.
And they did it. And they did it with, just went out selfishly, just defended. That was their call. They went and did it.
Yep.
But with the Vietnam War, there was a lot of protest, which
that's right.
I can see that. I could see why they're,
why are we there?
Yeah, and all that. where there was probably protests in World War II, but we, American people just didn't see that because it wasn't on the news.
Right. Well, I think with World War II, because it wasn't on like in our faces, and there was a huge America was attacked. You know what I mean? Like Vietnam, we weren't attacked. No. So when the men went to war in the 40s to go defend America and defend the world, essentially, the women at home who were raising the children, they took the jobs of the men. They built the tanks and the bullets and the guns. Like they became the United States' infrastructure to support their men, or our men overseas who were fighting, and it became one country working towards the same goal. But when you have the conflict, we weren't attacked, and look at the to them it was like the meaningless killing. Then they sit there and go, this is bullshit. We have to protest this because why are we there? And that was Vietnam. And that's been every war since.
Yeah.
The Gulf War, the war, every single war.
Gulf War was about oil.
Yeah.
And
then you have the Iraq conflict and the Afghanistan, the Middle East in the early 2000s with George W. Bush as president. Like there's always been because it's now televised, you can protest, and of course there's, not to make light of it, but there's always good movies that come out of that. Those stories.
There's always going to be a movie about.
Yep.
About Gulf War, about Vietnam.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're entertaining, and that's a good aspect of it. But they're also when they're taken with such seriousness.
Yeah.
And you got to remind yourself this happened. Even if the story is fictitious, the idea of going to war, defending your country, being put in life or death situations. That's real. That really happens. Yeah, and I know that there are some movies out there that they don't make light of it, but they play the idea of into it, and where it's fine.
That's always going to be.
Yeah.
Going back to Pearl Harbor, when they attacked, Yamamoto said, "I'm afraid that we awoken a sleeping giant."
Yep.
See, what saved America is our industrial might. We could build ships 12 to 20 a day or whatever, Liberty ships, make tanks, bullets, guns. Where Japan, they couldn't do that. They couldn't keep up with us industrially.
No, they couldn't.
So,
but then you have a movie like Tropic Thunder, which was it's not supposed to be. It was obvious, it's not supposed to be a real war movie.
Yeah,
it's about the three guys who are making a war movie, and it's Jack Black and Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller. And that movie's just funny as hell. And they play with the ideas of Vietnam because they're obviously making a Vietnam film.
Yeah.
But it's a comedy, right? So it's done in a kind of appropriate way. I can't think of a single movie where it's set in a war where it's taken as just pure comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those two things just don't work.
No.
Hogan's Heroes, but that was a television show. That's different.
Yeah, it showed you the Germans.
That was making fun of the Nazis too. Yeah. So it's not the same. So there's that. And by the way, you mentioned Band of Brothers in the Pacific. They did announce a third war drama miniseries. It's in production. It's in production now, and it's being produced by Playtone, which also did Band of Brothers and the Pacific. It's called Masters of the Air. So it's not exactly. I don't think Pacific is a sequel to Band of Brothers, but it's made by the same company. It's the same style, so it's like a spiritual sequel type of thing.
Yeah,
and they're doing the same thing with this one. It's called Masters of the Air.
It should be. If they're doing that, there's one thing that should be in there is the Tuskegee Airmen.
Well, it says that this is based off the book Masters of the Air, America's Bomber Boys Who Fought the Air War Against Nazi Germany.
Yes. Well, if they're going to do that, they're going to have to put the Tuskegee Airmen in there because they never lost a battle, never lost a bomber. That wing never lost a bomber in battle.
Okay.
Okay, they were all African-American wing.
Yes.
And Tuskegee, Alabama is where they trained. That's the Tuskegee Airmen. And I think the last one just recently passed away. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on this. That's not this thing. I'm just saying. Then you have the tankers, all black, all African American regiment. Red Bull Express. Oh, same African Americans took care of all that. There's a lot. They did a lot for this country and for their country, not just I gotta say for their country, because it is their country, just like it's our country. It's their country. It's our country.
It's our country.
Yes,
right.
They did a lot. They should get recognition for it. And I think all veterans should be recognized. No matter
absolutely.
What you played, what role you played, what you did.
I agree 1,000%.
And you know what's sad? You don't see, because most of them now are, passed away. The World War II veterans, used to give out the red poppies.
Yes.
You don't see them anymore anywhere. Like, if you do, it's very rarely that they're there, because, the younger generation, I guess, doesn't, I don't know if they want to stand there and do that.
I don't know. I mean,
and it's sad.
it is. But this is it is what it is. Unfortunately, and I agree with you in the sentiment that you don't have to agree. I guess you don't have to agree with the war. You don't have to agree with policy. You don't have to agree with, but you should respect the men and women who don the uniform.
Yes,
and
because they basically had more. See, I can't be. Sometimes I can't be polite. I have to be. They had more balls to go and do what they did.
I agree.
All right, and not saying that you did say you don't serve. You didn't serve in the military at all. Doesn't mean that you're not patriotic. But don't knock the people that went and say it was an unjust war and all that. They went.
Yeah.
They fought.
Yeah.
They died.
Yep.
To give you that right to talk, but don't knock them.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, no matter what I do here, I run a podcast. I've never put on the uniform. I've never been through basic training, and whether I agree with a war or not, or a policy, or who's sitting in the White House, it's the men and women who protect our country that to me deserve like top of the line respect.
Yes. And that,
it's not their fault.
No.
That they have to fight in a war that I don't agree with.
Mm-hmm. That's
But the fact that they're there, they deserve that respect 100%.
Yes,
absolutely. All right. Well, let me take a minute now to wrap this up, Bubba. Thank you for coming on this. We're gonna, it's gonna be a shorter episode today.
All right. But, this is right off the cuff. Next time I'll be more prepared. My notes and everything, because this is interesting to me. Because I couldn't be in the service due to I had open heart surgery and all. Mm-hmm. But I respect the men and women. Yeah, I get uptight. I get choked up. I'm patriotic. I can't help it.
No, that's nothing wrong with being patriotic. I think this is something we can work out here. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a podcast, you and me, in the future. Yeah. I'm not going to put a date to that, but we'll talk about it. We'll make something happen. Well, I think Wartime with Bubba sounds like a good name for a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I've got to get together.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll make it work, like everybody else out there in Podland.
Absolutely. So let me just end today's episode, special episode, Memorial Day episode, by saying this: if you're out there and you're listening, and you see a soldier, thank that person. If you see a veteran on the street, help him or her in some sort of way, whether they want some money or give them something to eat, or tell them that there's figure out a way to help them, because they put their lives on the line. Their country's not.
Support the USO. Yep. You can
support the USO. Help the people who help defend this country. Mm-hmm. And again, whether you agree with policy or not, and this is not to be political, because this is more of a movie and media podcast. It's in the title, right? There's still the people that said, you know what, I'm going to defend the country that we all share, and that's special.
One thing, if you have the time, take a drive down to Homedale to the New Jersey Vietnam Veterans Memorial. It's all the residents of New Jersey that fought and died in the Vietnam War. Their names are on a wall.
Yep.
They have an education center there.
That's by the PNC Bank Arts Center, right?
Yes. Yeah. Go there, donate. You donate to get in. And it's a whole history about the Vietnam War. So go check it out. It's very interesting.
Yep. So just remember tonight, when you're barbecuing and you're having fun and you're blowing up fireworks, and toast a beer to the men and women who can't be here because their sacrifice made us free. Keep that in mind, correct. And we'll be back talking about movies soon, and we'll do more about war films, because I think this was a fun topic, and there's many, many more war movies we can dive into.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Unks. Thank you, Unk. And
Outstanding.
Yep, and if you're out there in podcast land, check us out. We're here every Wednesday. Today, this episode will drop. I don't know, maybe today, maybe it'll be Wednesday. We'll figure it out. But check us out all the time. Go to www.greenarrowmedia.org. That's our website. We're going to be launching a store soon, so you can pick up some cool merch. Definitely check us out on. We have a YouTube out there, Green Arrow Media on YouTube. We have a couple of shorts and some cool shit there.
I do believe you're gonna have a picture of Uncle Bubba with his cowboy hat on.
We can post
on a
that.
mug.
Yep. That's coming. We're getting our social media stuff together now. We're gonna fix all that. We have Twitters, we have Instagrams, we have Facebook pages. All that's coming. It's a work in progress for some of our stuff. And go check out Is This Real? If you like conspiracies, if you like aliens, if you like all sorts of things that make you question the government and angels, and you question religion, check out Is This Real? Definitely check it. That's our sister podcast hosted by my brother Joey and my father and Eric and Joshua. Check that out if that's your cup of tea. But keep us locked in if you're into movies, music, television, and books and video games, because that's what Multimedia Mafia is all about. Thank you for joining me today on Memorial Day. Stay safe out there. Thank a veteran, and I will see you next time.
Outstanding.